So, you want a full stack engineering project, but you're overwhelmed because you've heard full stack engineers cost tons of money. And we've had a web app project going for over a year and we still don't have what we want. Today, I'm gonna debunk some of the fears that businesses and marketing departments have when working with a web dev shop to build products or services for their customers to streamline their marketing strategies, and what to look for and how to work effectively with a full stack engineering firm. So number one, make sure you have your requirements lined up, ready to roll, and understand some basic modern full stack engineer practices like Agile development. We have a video that I'll link in the description where I discuss what Agile web development is in more detail. But in a nutshell, Agile web development allows for iterative releases, meaning that we're not saying, hey, we're gonna build this awesome web app and we're gonna, deliver it at the end and it's gonna be everything that you ever wanted, all your ideas, and it's gonna take 9 months and then we're gonna deploy it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take all those awesome ideas you have and maybe even some validated ideas from your user base. Even better, if you have feedback from your customers telling you what they want, that's how you should be building out your products. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take all of those ideas and those hard requirements and we're gonna scale it down to an MVP. And that's gonna be the very first release. So how do we determine MVP in a full stack engineering project? First and foremost, when we have all those requirements, you're gonna have a meeting with an Agile project manager and your client success manager to go over the outcomes that you want in your project. We do this doing a practice called user story writing. So a user story is essentially a way to phrase a task to get into the head of the end user. So an example of a good user story would be something like this. As a new user, I want a streamlined approach to easily sign up and log in to the web application. That's a really basic, fundamental user story, but you can get the gist. You can fill in the blanks there. Like, as a user, I want a search functionality that allows me to filter out by XYZ because I'm looking for specific things. So like just things like that. We write all the user stories. Once we're all aligned on the user stories, we group them into what's called epics, which are basically big chunks of tasks that sum up to a big milestone within your project. So it could be something like backend API would be an epic. And that backend API would have a bunch of technical tasks, a bunch of things that need to be solved to make sure that the front end can handle the functionality that the team wants. Like, if you need to hit a backend API to get certain amounts of data to show to your users, we need to make sure that we have all that captured in the backend API epic. So once you have all your epics and your user stories written and planned out, we then set target dates for different milestones within your project, and then the engineering team and the project management and client success team will all work in tandem to make sure that your project is moving and that everybody is on the same page. Most important part of an Agile engineering process is the routine touch bases with the stakeholders. In this case, the stakeholder is going to be a client and the team is YohDev, and we're gonna set up weekly or bi-weekly touch bases with stakeholders to go over priorities, share progress, and share demos immediately as work is ready so that we can get feedback from the stakeholders right at the time of delivery of that specific feature or demo so that we don't waste months building out something that when you see it live in person, we might need to tweak it right there. So getting that immediate feedback is super important. Once we get through design and development and having that constant feedback loop with the client and the engineering team, then we move into a phase called quality assurance and testing, where automated tests for the application will be written or tested to make sure that security, important functionality is working, etc. before we deploy live. Once we get through that quality assurance step, then we're moving on to something called UAT, which is user acceptance testing, where you, the stakeholder, and with any end users that you want to test your application with, you'd send them to a staging environment where they can test and give feedback. Once we get through user acceptance testing and we fix or add any of the recommendations from the users, we move to deployment. We deploy MVP, and then we immediately get it in the hands of the users, and then we start to reiterate and re-release as we go, and we just build on top of it. And the beauty of it is, one, we deliver a product at a lightning fast rate because we're just skimming it down to the minimums, and then we can validate and test all of the theories and the ideas and the features that the stakeholders had early on with the actual user base, so that we don't waste time on features that aren't important to the actual users who are using the application. That is an effective way to deliver a software project at a low cost with a higher chance of success, because we're not spending months, years in some cases, building out a product that's going to cost tons of money that you don't even know if your users are going to like it yet. So MVP is the way to go when you're working with a full stack engineering company.